Hi, y'all. It's Catty Connie coming at you here again. I wanted to hop on just for a minute and talk about this weather that we're having. You know, as somebody running the elements is not very happy with us right now because it is so blasted cold. It's, 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 well, my daddy used to say it's colder than a well digger's butt. And I'm telling you, it is. It is so cold. So I decided I'd jump on here because, I know a lot of y'all are having these kind of weather conditions. And I thought, what could we talk about as far as weather goes? What did y'all do when it was cold like this? And we got a little bit of snow. So I told Orville they all came piling in here. They brought their kids and they brought their dogs and their cats. And yeah, my house is a little full right now. I think they're packing up and getting ready to leave today. Thank you, sweet Jesus. But they're here, and we got to play the game live. You know, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I always lose that game. I got a car full of kids, and they're all falling all over the board, and people are running over them and everything because I can't keep them in my car because I got too many of them. But they sure collect at the end of the game. Yeah, we did that and played a little bit per trivia, some trivia kind of game, and then we just kind of sat around and talked, and his kids were looking for something to do. That one kid, Emmett, forgot. I guess his battery ran out of his VR set, so he only got to play that for a little while. And I don't have any of those kind of batteries or any of that kind of stuff, so hey, sorry, Emmett. Anyway, so we drank hot chocolate and we roasted marshmallows in the fireplace. And the one kid got burnt because he was getting his stick too close to it. And you don't keep your marshmallow in there until it just is a blazing fire. Kept telling him you're gonna get burnt. Well, he had to burn himself on his own. So Orville had to go over there and take care of that. Poor kid. I told him just put a little bit of butter on it. He'll be all right. Maybe a little bit of ice. I don't know that kid. So we did that, and then the next morning there was a little bit of snow, and I said, "Why don't you guys take those two old inner tubes out there and go down that hill?" They looked at me like I had a third eye. I said, "It's a lot of fun. We used to do it when we were a kid. In fact, we used to take trash bags and slide down the hills. Whatever we could find, cardboard boxes or whatever." These kids, I'm telling you, these kids these days, they don't know what they're missing. Emmett said, "Aunt Connie, we can't go down that hill on those inner tubes. There's no way of steering it." Well, that's the fun of it. It'll twirl around, it'll go sideways. It's a lot of fun, Emmett. Would you just take off your frilly panties and have a little bit of fun? I don't know what to say about him. He's all right. He just doesn't have any imagination. And he doesn't pretend. I don't think very many of them these days do. Anyway, so after we got into a little bit of a snowball fight. That was all right. And then we came inside and we looked for other stuff to do, watched a little bit of television. That was fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to watch Mom Pa Kettle. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but it was, we went back and watched some of the old good ones, where Pa gets a hold of the light, gets a hold of the cord, and all of the mixer and the blender and the light bulbs all go off because Pa's got so much electricity in his system. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we watched the one where they went to Hawaii and and everybody, they ran into a family just like theirs, except they were Hawaiian. Mom and Pa had a bunch of children. Had a bunch of children. And this family had a bunch of children too, and they were naming theirs by the calendar. January, February, March, April, May, go on and on and on. And then I think they even started going into the alphabet, A, B, and C. They had more kids, and Mom and Pa were all happy to meet this family because you know what? They were just like theirs. All them kids running all over everywhere. It looked like an army. I'm telling you, they could have had their own baseball team. Yeah, we didn't have very many kids. Well, like I said in the last video, after Baby Alive kind of scared us and we didn't want too many kids. And I was talking to Ella when she came over and she said, "Hey, Connie, I saw your video and you talked about Baby Alive, but you sure never talked about Chatty Cathy." Oh, I forgot about Chatty Cathy. That dog could walk and talk like nobody. I'm telling you, don't you think this is the reason why the people my age didn't have more than a couple kids? Yeah, no, we didn't want to. Well, I guess there's a couple families out there that had like 12 or 13 kids and got on TV, that Duggard family and those people. But in a general note, my family, now my age group didn't have that many kids. We were too busy having fun. And we had a couple kids, I guess. Most of us had a couple kids. Yeah, we had to bring something into this world to carry on the fun and the family name. So, yeah, that was good. That was good. So, that night we had some hot cider. I don't know if y'all remember having hot cider. It was so good with a cinnamon stick in it. Yeah, that was so good. We all sat around and talked. Me and Orville and Ella and Emmett tried to talk, but every time he talked, he was talking about something none of us knew anything about. Like, said something about some Power Ranger or something. I don't know. And then he started getting into this anime stuff about some moon lady, and I don't know what he was talking about, but I just smiled and said, Emmett, I bet it was really good. I bet it was really good. Yeah, we had a good time, and then everybody piled up on the couch or in their sleeping bags, and we laid down by the fireplace, and just warmed up and went to sleep. Woke up the next day, and it was still cold. We didn't even have these kind of cold weather for Christmas. Now, it was warm at Christmas time, and it didn't feel like Christmas because it was so warm. Now, how the devil did it get cold after Christmas is what I'd like to know. It broke record heats. Record cold everywhere. There were power outages and internet outages and car outages. Everybody had some kind of outage. Those poor people up east is really having it terrible. They got snow and on top of snow. And I watched this guy, this weatherman, and he is the neatest little thing you ever saw. And he said another one is coming. I almost said, you know what, I don't want to watch you anymore if you're going to keep giving me bad news like that. Another cold front. And we're not used to this kind of cold. We're just not used to this kind of cold. But I got me a new hat. Yep, don't you like it? It keeps my ears warm, and got to wear my sweatshirts, and yeah. But I'm ready for it to go away. I guess it's going to come back this weekend again, and we can figure out, they're all going to come. Orville and his kids are all going to come over here. They are. So I'm going to have to get out and get some food and some groceries because they went through my pantry like Grant went through Richmond. And I'm going to have to get some, I'm going to have some other stuff because I won't be able to feed him this coming weekend if it comes back through. Maybe I should tell him this is a bring your own food party. Bah, it's alright. I can get some. Yep, then I need to dig for some more games. You know, maybe we'll play Scrabble. Although those little kids don't know how to spell. And they don't know what the game is. And we'd have to explain it to them. And they'd have to Google all the answer, all the how to spell everything. So we'd be there all day long for them Googling how to spell this and how to spell that. And what if I had these letters? What can I spell? And Google will tell them. You know, it's just this Google thing is just. It's just not right. It's just not right. You don't even use your brain when you use Google all the time. How can you use your brain? You need to dust those particles out of your brain and use it for something other than Google. But it's a new generation. I'm telling you, it's a new generation. What do you guys think of this generation? I don't know. Just put in a comment down in the bottom of the box. I'd like to know what y'all think. You know, I have my opinion, but you know, like they say, opinions are like elbows. Everybody's got one or two, and I think that they need to learn a few different things about the old times, how we used to do things. Yeah, because they don't know. They're gonna grow up and they're not gonna know. Shoot, I remember when we were growing up, we didn't have very much money at all. We lived in this old shed, and it had a wood burning stove, and I'm telling you, I am a telling you, my mama made food out of flour and water. We had bread. Threw a couple beans in and a ham hock, and we had beans, and they were the best beans you'd ever had and the best bread. Oh my God, there wasn't a child in our family that ever went hungry. But now, are you kidding me? If you don't have a microwave and a frozen dinner in there, these kids are going to starve. I don't even know if they know how to make a peanut butter sandwich. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, I'm depending on these kids to get a Social Security check. And if they don't know how to work and they don't know how to make a peanut butter sandwich, then you know what? I'm not going to get much Social Security check. So, y'all, when you see these kids walking down the road, tell them about something we used to do. Get them all involved. Because you know what? They're our future. And Emmett's my future with his VR headset. He's my future. I think I'd be better off with Sparky the dog. I don't want to be that rough on them. I'm sure that I'm sure they'll have their time and they'll grow up and they know everything about computers, so I guess they can do computer work. I think they could do that. I don't know if they could farm. I know they can't farm. They're not going to get their hands dirty, and they sure won't be a mechanic. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I can't worry about that. I'll just have to go back to the old days and make bread with water. If I have to, it's no big deal. Now they'll starve if they don't have a job, but I know how to work. I know how to work around that kitchen if I don't have very much. Yes, I sure do. My Mima taught me how to do that. You know, I was also thinking, would you leave your 10-year-old child? You know, after my last video, we were talking about how we used to babysit when we were really young. Shoot, they left. They used to leave 3 and 4 kids with me, and I was about 10 or 11 years old. I had to corral these kids like you had to corral chickens, and I was running all after them, and none of them got hurt or anything, but I knew I had to watch them. They were my responsibility. And then they gave me about $1.50 or whatever, and been gone 5 hours, and I'd watched 8 of these kids, but I was glad to have the $1.25. But let me tell you, would you leave your 10-year-old child with a baby? Would you leave your baby with one of these 10-year-old children right now? I wouldn't. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't. I'd have to I'd have to put them through boot camp. They'd have to go through the colony boot camp, where I'd have to teach them how to change diapers and teach them how to be responsible. By the time they got through it, shoot, they'd be 13 or 14. They'd be about good age to start babysitting and having their own babysitting service. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Orville was talking about, speaking of toys and stuff, Orville was talking about that Stretch Armstrong toy. I guess I didn't bring it up the last video, but there's this toy. It was called Stretch Armstrong, and it was a rubber man. It was a big, muscular rubber man, and you would take one arm and you'd take the other arm and you would pull it and pull it and pull, and he never broke. Fascinating. Well, my brother Elmer and Orville got on bikes one time, and Orville took one arm and my brother took the other, and they rode their bikes, and Stretch Armstrong just didn't cut the mustard. He ripped. There was some kind of gooey stuff in there. But boy, I'll tell you what, that plastic sure wasn't, because they got quite a piece away from each other before he ripped. I was pretty impressed. All right, y'all. I've rattled and talked your heads off long enough. If you'd like to, please leave a comment down on the bottom, like and subscribe. It's always fun talking to you. And I'll see you in a few days. Maybe we'll catch up on some more cold weather. Or maybe we'll, you know what they say, when hell freezes over. Well, I'm telling you right now, United States, hell's freezing over. Y'all take care. Here. Bye.